Well, hey, what's up, First Youth? This is your pastor, David, back on our journey. This is episode 5, and today I have my lovely wife, who's our co-host today, and we also have some very special guests. Our segment is officially gone international. Hey, Layla, Lexi, why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Hey, I'm Layla. And I'm Lexi. And we live over in PNG right now.
And for those who may be outside of America challenged, we'll call it, what is PNG?
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. It's Papua New Guinea, which is a small island off the coast of Australia. And it's like a third world country. It's like not very developed. And we're here with our family and a bunch of other families doing missions. So, yeah.
Awesome. Hey, so I kind of know what you guys' life looks like and week looks like, but for those who may not know, being high school students in a third world country, what does a normal week look like for you guys?
All right, so yeah, it's been a little slow recently, but usually we have school during the week at this boarding school that we go to, and we get to walk there, it's like seriously 20 feet away. It's super close. And then we have teachers here that have come over for the purpose of support work. So they come over to teach kids so that their parents can go into the tribes and work. So we go to that school, and we're with a bunch of other MKs and with some other nationals that live around here too. They come to school, and so during the mornings and part of the afternoon we do that. And then for high schoolers, there's sports. We do rugby here, which is kind of different. But we do rugby,
Girls rugby
and basketball and soccer and volleyball.
Is there a girls rugby team?
There is. It's a girls touch rugby team, but it can get pretty not just touch. It gets pretty crazy sometimes. It's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So
we
get. What?
Are you on the
Lexi,
team?
is Lexi on the team?
Okay.
I'm on the team. I was on the team last year.
Okay.
And Lexi's going to try out for the team this year, but it's pretty easy to make it onto the team. So
come back in 2.5 years. We expect you guys to show us how to play rugby.
Gladly, very gladly. So then after sports, which usually takes a while, we come home and then we have 30 minutes before dinner to do homework or shower or whatever. And then we do homework for a while. And then that's basically the end of our day. During the weekends, it's just everybody has quads and motorcycles are super popular around here. They're not the nice Harleys or anything, but they're just we like riding them around. So we ride those around on the weekends and hang out at night and listen to music and watch movies and stuff. So it was fun. It's good.
So what would you guys just say some of the major differences are living in Papua New Guinea versus living here in the United States?
Well, I feel like we definitely live a lot closer. Everybody that goes to our school is also right on the base with us. So we live super close, and it's hard not to know everything about someone's life because you just live right next door to each other. And so,
true.
Yeah.
It's also super cool because we have opportunities. I feel they have little things we have this internship that you can work in our medical clinic, which is crazy, but you can as a student you just go in there and work for 3 or 4 hours a day and get all this experience if you want to be go into a medical field, which that's been super cool. I know that's a little bit different from the States because but that's been super cool, even little things like that. Yeah.
Also, the town is a lot different. Our stores and restaurants, all that is just completely different. And definitely.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's there's goats standing in the road and little kids running with bush knives or big knives and machetes, and
that happens.
It's awesome. We had this stuff.
Kids run with knives all the time.
Oh yeah. They have this stuff called buai. It's a nut that they chew.
Beetle nut.
It's beetle nut. And then they chew it. It's this it's just a thing. It helps with hunger and anyways. But they spit that everywhere, and it's bright red. So the streets are just like bright red streets, and it's literally in all the stores, and it's fun. You can tell where people have been basically everywhere.
That's crazy.
So would you guys say there are any challenges living there compared to, living in the United States? Some struggles, any challenges that you guys deal with?
I think like one of the things that I do know that MKs, like sometimes missionary kids go back to the States and they deal with this is like living like your own faith. Because it's so like Lexi said, we're like all on top of each other. We like constantly, we're just like, you can hear each other talking to like their family at night, like that's how close we are. So like it's easy to like have the faith, like your parents' faith, or like your friends' faith, and like just be growing on that. But it's hard to like, sometimes it's hard to like make it your own and like make time to spend time with God in the morning, So that's, I think, one of the hard things, because in the States you don't have this many people like looking over your shoulder, so you can kind of just like, you can either like not do anything, or you kind of like are forced to like make it your own and like, yeah, I'm seriously gonna live like this. But here it's like I mean there's both sides to it. It's also a super great community for having like your faith, but it sometimes can be hard to make it your own. So yeah, that's one struggle.
I feel like separation is another big one, like going to America and like leaving all your friends and leaving all your friends, like, and definitely there's a lot of separation, but I feel like that's the nicest thing about having a family and like someone who you can always like hold on to. And like,
yeah, it's true. It's always like, it's sad to like go from one place to the next, but it's super cool, all the things you learn. And like, I've never like looked back on it and been like, oh, I wish that I was just in like at FA for like another year or in PNG for another year. I've always been like so glad that I've been able to be in both places, which is awesome. Yeah.
So for someone who may not know, kind of what missionaries do and why they do it, can you explain like why you guys are there in PNG? Is it just because the weather's really nice and, you really like the trees, or, like why are you guys there?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We are with a mission that has the primary focus of going to the unreached nations and making a church there. And yeah, like building relationships with the people and learning the culture and the language, and then actually translating the Bible into that language, which is super cool. So there's about 800 different languages here,
and like
and
different
just in this country,
by as in like Spanish is to like French is to English, like completely different languages.
Super, yeah. Like you can go from like you can be in one place and fly in a helicopter 10 minutes over to the next place, and they have a completely different language. It's super crazy. So we have tons of different missionaries out in these different places, and their goal is to go out there and then learn the culture and language of the people first and build relationships. And then once they have those relationships and they are completely like fluent and they understand like all the different, like they understand the language like we understand English, then they take the gospel and they start presenting it and they start translating it into their language, into their mother tongue, which is super, super awesome. Yeah.
And so why would you guys say that's important? Like, couldn't I just, send a check, and couldn't I just, do some other things? Why is it so important that you guys want to pick up your whole life and go, to PNG? Why would you guys say that's so important?
You can go for it.
So the people out in the tribes and different groups, they don't have a way to become Christian. Like, I guess they could do like a 7-day hike out to the town and maybe go to a church, but that's not ideal. And sometimes they barely even know the language that they go to the church in. And so they don't usually go to our churches. They just like buy their stuff they need and then go back into the tribe. And so it's nice to be out there with them and like, so that they, and like make relationships so that they will actually like listen to you before you just start speaking. And
like it's super like as a mission, I think like our mission thinks that it's super, super important to have those relationships. So like it's hard to like do that from being on the other side of the world, having a relationship with people. And it's easier like when you're out there living in a hut with no internet and like mosquitoes and rats, like, and cockroaches, like taking
I don't
showers
do rats.
from a river. So like it's easier to relate to them when you're out there with them walking through the mud, slipping in the pig poop and all that kind of stuff. And they really like appreciate that, and they appreciate seeing that. So I think that's like why it's super important. And then they like, when they get it, they're like, okay, God like seriously is like, he's like one with me. Like he knows me. Like
So
he's,
cool.
cause now like we know him in our language and our like mother tongue. So now we feel like he's like he seriously cares about us, like for like us specifically, which is, yeah.
That's so cool. And so does your family work with a specific people group or a couple different specific people groups? Or are you guys just in
Actually,
Yes.
yes, we did. So for the first 6 years we were here, we worked in the first 12 years, way off. Our family worked
6
with
to 12.
Haywa people group. It was called the Haywa people, and they had like some super hard challenges in there. They had like murders that they had witchcraft and murders and all this different kind of stuff. And we were able to present some of the language, present some of the gospel in their language, but then there was a bit of a civil war there. And it was actually like super, super bad. So we had to.
They told us that we should go with them to a different location that's safer, because
the believers were like, well, the only reason we're staying here and risking our lives is to keep your guys' house safe. And we're like, well, that doesn't sound like a good reason. So we're like, yeah, we'll move with you guys to this other place, which is like a few days hike away, and we'll start doing the gospel there. So we did that for another few years, and that was super cool. We had coworkers, so we would like switch off. So we would be in there 1 year, and then they would go in there for a year, and then we would go in with it. So we switched off with them because we only had one house in there. And then we finally they decided that like it would be easier if they had an airstrip, because that was helicopter only. So we decided to move down the mountain. It's like maybe a day hike away. It's super close. And they decided that we would build an airstrip there and set up a church, and that would be safest there. So they finally did that, and then we moved out, and my dad started working here on our center as the coordinating director for the field of Ethnos 360 and PNG. And yeah, so but our coworkers are still in there actually right now. With the people, and we are like still on the team, so we'll go in like whenever they can't be in there for like little bits of time. So yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, so last thing before we wrap up is just, people that are listening to this, there's just some specific prayers that they could be praying for you guys as you guys are even dealing with coronavirus there as we are here, or just maybe some other specific prayer requests for people groups within your area or anything like that.
Yeah, totally.
100%. There's 2 tribes right now, Omdu and Pei. So, they are both just now starting the teaching, but with the coronavirus, they had to like not do it, or if they would do it, they have to do it like 3 times a day. So it's super hard for them, and like really been a struggle. And there's a lot of different like forces pushing against them, as in like other people trying to tell the people not to go to church, and like, so there's a bunch of forces. So if you could just pray for the missionaries in there, just to
it's been 7
courage.
years since they moved in, those missionaries, to those 2 different tribes, and they finally were able to like get through the language and understand it all, and they were writing like the lessons for the people, and then then this whole thing hit. So that was pretty devastating for them, because they were like, are you kidding me, like really? But it's been super good. God's provided in tons of ways, and they're meeting in church now, and so just pray for like continual strength for them, and for their enthusiasm to be strong. Also, it's crazy that it hasn't hit our country, that like they like the COVID-19, they said that it was our like P&G, because of our welfare and our like medical care. They said that we were like more like we were
like 10% of the population was supposed to like die off because of this.
Because we were like, people already have like all these different underlying issues. So it's been like such a big
Miracle.
such a miracle from the Lord, that we haven't been hit yet, and just that we would continue to be protected, and that even if it does hit, that they would see it as from God, and that they would push through it together. Actually, they decided that every single Wednesday would be a national day of prayer for our country, which is like already, that's like, whoa, that's so crazy. So that's been cool already to see. But
wow,
those are the main 2 or 3 prayer requests.
Well, guys, we can't say thank you enough, just for your willingness to be obedient as a family, to do whatever it takes, for the spread of the gospel and for all people to hear. So thank you guys. And First Youth, we love you, and we'll see you guys next time.